Well, it took me about between 5 and 6 minutes to boil water once I actually started putting water on there. I waited till I had a fire going and then put it on. But it's pretty cool. Boiling like a mother. If you can look down in there, there ain't that much wood in there. I tried to keep the fire reasonably low without, engulfing the pan with huge flames. So, it works good. It works better with this bigger pan. The bigger the pan, the better, I'd say, with this thing. Littler pans are harder to hold, to put on there, maybe, because the base is so big. It's a big stove, but the water's definitely boiling. It's been boiling for several minutes now. So even when the fire goes down like this, it just goes down to embers pretty much. It's still boiling. So anyway, it's very easy to add more wood. You can just break some and throw them in. It'll hold big wood or little wood. I think it's basically simple to use bigger pieces once you get it going, but not necessarily. You can keep using little pieces. I think I'll add a few little sticks in here before I quit. Once it's at this state, it's so hot in there, you could throw a stick in. It might take a minute, but it'll light it all back up. See, it all caught fire again. The water's still bubbling, so it's boiling still. And once those 3 or 4 little sticks I put in there catch, it'll boil hard again. So, you could let it burn down some in order to fry something that you don't want the temperature to be too hot. I found with alcohol stoves, the temperature gets so hot that it's really hard to fry something because it just burns the heck out of it. It tends to want to burn it. For this thing, I like that. See, there's very little wood in there right now. And I bought me a little plate, stainless steel plate to put under it over at Academy Sports. So this pan here, I used it. It's kind of warped before I put it on, so it's really not flat on the bottom. But it's too small or something for this grill. Put that water in there. See, it's boiling like a mother off those 3 little sticks I put back on there. So it doesn't take much to get her going. It's already reboiled the water I just added. So it's hot. And that's not a big fire, that's a small fire. I watched a video and the guy had 3-foot flames above the pan, and buddy, it can get hot if you stuff it with wood, but that's really not necessary as far as just to boil water. It might do it quicker, I don't know. But I think this little fire here, just small pieces of wood, just keep the fire lit. And even once this goes out and it's still embers, all you gotta do is add a stick or 2 and it'll start boiling again. So right now it's at a better temperature to be frying something. I like that because I intend to fry something too other than just boiled meals. See how the embers are going in there? Let's see if we can get it to focus. So the water is still bubbling, even though it appears there's hardly any fire, but it's just red hot in there. So that's kind of neat. And you can easily add a stick. Just one probably make it fire up a little. Let's see what one does to it. One little stick. Doesn't take it long. It's already starting to flame up again with one stick. You can see the water's boiling. It's still steamy hot. So I like the idea that once you get it hot, you can let it simmer down. Then you could cook on it and keep it hot, but not so hot that it burns everything. At this point, it'd be good to fry something. So, I say the Littlbug Sr. is a wonderful success in boiling water, even with small amounts of wood. Now, I did keep feeding it the whole time, a little bit at a time. I wasn't sure how much you needed to boil water, but I think what you could do is just build up a fire and let it settle down, and then add 2 or 3 pieces as you start boiling water. Just add a little and wait a minute or 2 or 3, and then add some more, little piece or 2. But you don't have to shove this thing full to make it boil water. As you can see, it is way down in there with very little movement, very little heat. Water's still hot, it's not boiling anymore. So if you really wanted it hotter, you can add a few sheets of wood, a few pieces, little sticks, and they'll light up quick. I got wood all over the place out here. Just add a couple of little sticks, just little nothings. And it'll take long pieces. See how long that one is? You can put that in no problem. I mean, it's a good sized stove. I mean, the room is the neatest thing. I think it gives you some room to do stuff. And once you got it glowing red in there, as long as you don't wait too long, you can add sticks at any time. Notice the water starts smoking immediately. Doesn't take much to get it back to hot. Those 2 or 3 little sticks I added. Here's another one, little bitty stick. So a couple of those I put in hadn't even caught yet. Just kind of smoldering in there. Anyway, now you notice how fast it caught? It's already those little sticks right there. Nothing sticks. Caught this fire on. Basically, I mean, you can make a roaring fire or you can just make a small fire and it still can cook on it. I think if you were wanting to leave it on for a long time, you can just add a little at a time. But I'm sure you can't just leave it for 10 or 15 minutes without doing something. It may go out in that time frame. Who knows? Anyway, it's the Littlbug Sr. version. I'm real pleased with it. See it up closer. If you look at the fire, it's pretty slim now. Those little twigs, but the water itself is smoking hot. It's not boiling anymore, but I think it's neat. You can just add a little bit of wood, bring it back to a boil if you want to. I don't know why you'd want, unless you wanted to cook another pot of water for somebody else. Or if you wanted to keep it boiling, maybe cook some potatoes. That's what I'm looking at. Anyway, this is Ted signing off. The Littlbug stove, I highly rate it. Littlbug.com. Get you one if you'd like. They're neat. And they pack up to a lot smaller than this size. If you go to their site, you can see a picture of them. And the size, they have other sizes. One size is 5 ounces. This size here is 19 ounces. It's a bigger one. But if you take this, you never have to have any fuel other than just the wood you find around you. You don't have to take another stove. This packs up into a narrow little black bag, and these pieces all come apart. So there's videos on eBay you can watch. But to me, it's a nice stove. I like this. So I just put down the little sheet of metal just to keep from burning the ground, or just to see how it worked. But you can buy those at Academy. They're 10-inch diameter. The stove's about 8-inch, maybe a little more than 8. And it's a big thing. Actually, the handle's cool. I can hold it. Now, if you notice the pot, it was slick stainless. Now it is, inside is slick stainless. Outside is black soot. Now, will any of that come off, or does it matter? I bought this set to use on the stove. I thought I would use it for this stove, and kept another set for if I'm going to use an alcohol stove. I won't have any soot. So basically, once you cook on these, if you're going to move, you're going to need to try to wash them